Welcome back to the channel, Variety Homestead. We're glad you tuned in. Today, we're going to be curing 2 slabs of pork belly. These were bought from 2 different stores, but they're fresh pork belly. And I'm going to give you a couple of fun facts before we get into the actual salting itself. Or actually, it's going to be a salt-sugar mix. So, these 2 bellies, one was 6.86 pounds, one was 6.58 pounds, so that's about 13.4 pounds. They cost $4.99 a pound plus tax, so they're in for just a fuzz over $5 a pound. The average price for premium bacon and store brand bacon in our area is about $6 a pound. So yes, you can get under $4 a pound, and you can get over $7.50 a pound. And what all I did was I just added up some premiums and added up some store brands and got an average. So the price at $5 and something a pound may or may not be worth it to you to do it. However, when you consider the additives that are in the store-bought bacon, whether it's premium or store brand, you're going to find the following ingredients. You're going to find water, so good, so far so good, salt, sugar, and then you're going to have sodium phosphates, sodium erythorbate, and sodium nitrates. All right. Outside of the sodium nitrates, I don't know about the other two. I've heard they put nitrates in curing of meat, but you also got to consider that store-bought meat is not intended to be cured for preservation. It's always on refrigeration. It has to travel long distances, and it has to stay good for a long period of time. With what we're going to do is we're going to do an old-fashioned salt sugar cure, and we're going to do that for about 5 days. And then we're going to wash all that stuff off, dry them off, and I'm going to put them in the cold smoker for probably a day, day and a half. And then they'll be ready to hang up and consume or slice and eat whenever we want. And they'll keep for a really long time. That being said, bacon in our house doesn't keep for very long anyway. So the fact that we've got 13.4 pounds of bacon on this run means we'll have bacon for quite some time. Our bacon, the ingredients that I'm going to be doing today are I've got pure cane light brown sugar, so I think that's got some molasses in it probably. And then we're doing Redmond's real salt, and the Redmond's real salt is also called ancient sea salt. So I was pretty intrigued by that when my wife told me about that. So I got a cup of that, and I've got a cup of the brown sugar, and I'm going to mix these together, and then we're going to put them on the bacon. Okay, so I've got the 1 cup of Redmond's real salt. I've got the 1 cup of, in this case, light brown sugar. You could use dark brown sugar. It wouldn't hurt a thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dump that in there, and I'm going to mix this up really, really well. So the brown sugar can get lumpy, but mixing it up really, really well. On the last batch of bacon I did, which was actually last year, I did a 25%. So it was like a 3-to-1 mixture of salt and then sugar. And I actually oversalted it, which I've come to learn is a common mistake. And so I may or may not use every last bit of this, but for the sake of measuring, for folks who want to actually get to preciseness on measuring, this is what I'm mixing up. So it comes out to 2 cups, obviously, total. And I'm going to show it to you. After I get it all mixed up, I just want to get the brown sugar, and if the brown sugar is a little sticky, just want to get the brown sugar all mixed in with the salt, and that's what she looks like all mixed up. Okay, so here's the 2 bellies. that you can see in the picture here. I currently have them fat side up, so I'm gonna take the cure and I'm gonna spread it out pretty thick, actually, to start with. This is the fat side up. I'm gonna store them in the lugs, which you can see to the right of me, or to the left of me. I'm going to put the bacon in those to cure, and they have a hole on the holes in the bottom of the little bottom thing. I'll show you. They're pretty cool. We bought them just for the purpose of curing meat, trying to get all around the sides here of this. Get on every side, and this is going to be the bottom sitting in the lug, and since it's fat side down is how it's going to sit in the thing, the lug. All right, that's that one, and get a little bit there, and I'll finish them off, and we'll do some here. This one's got a fairly thick fat cap, so I'm not sweating it too awful bad. It's interesting because the salt, what the function of the salt is to remove water, and so it will take the water all the way out, or out enough that it actually preserves the meat. And when it preserves the meat, that's where you're going to get that longevity. And all right, so I'll flip these over and we'll start again. Okay, so I had to take a pause because what I realized was I put enough of the salt sugar on the back side that I was going to be way short on the front side. So what I did was I added another 3/4 cup of the brown sugar and another 3/4 cup of the salt to give me more than enough. I intend to have more than enough. This top side here, as you can see, there's where all your lean is, or most of the lean, and I want to make sure I get those sides really good again when I set it in the lug, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with that in just a minute. So that means that what I did is a total of 1 3/4 cups of the Redmond's salt and 1 3/4 cups of the light brown sugar. Just so you, just full disclosure here on what we're trying to do. So I'm dumping this on, and I'm going to be spreading it out, and it's going to be a little thick to start with, but it's going to work out okay. Make sure you're getting in all the nooks and crannies, if there are any. This is a pretty decent belly, actually. It's really pretty. So I'm not really sweating that. And I think that's plenty right there. But I do want to make sure that I'm really getting the salt and sugar cure on the sides there too. Got a little spot there underneath I want to make sure that I put some into so it gets salted really well. And right here there's a little spot. And because this stuff over the next 5 days, as it starts to cure and sweat, this stuff's going to fall off and it's going to make a liquid in the bottom. Okay, now we're going to do this second one. This is actually a nice looking belly too. Like I said, this isn't the same belly. This is two, I think it looks like they're belly halves is what it looks like to me. And I'm just putting the stuff on there. I'm not trying to make it, you know, super ultra thick on there. Just trying to make sure I'm getting into all the nooks and crannies. And on the sides, which I've already done once, but I'm doing them again. And then there's some leftover here that you see, you might be able to see laying around. All of that's going to go in there too. And that's what I had left over. Not much at all. So not even a handful. And I'll end up using that once I get them placed in the lug. Okay, these lugs we got online. They're made by Lem, L-E-M. They're available. You can just go to some butcher supply. These are not like you would see in the meat departments in the supermarket. Not quite that as large as that. But one of the things that's cool about them is they have this tray on the inside that is on little feet, and it allows the juices to drip through into the bottom. So I don't need to flip this, you know, to keep the brine going or to keep any of that happening. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I tried to see if both would fit in there, and they won't. And they kind of would, but I'd have it overlapping, and I really don't want to do that. I might be able to get away with it, but I prefer not to. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to sit it, and I'm going to center it up. Sit it in there, and I'm going to scrape up some of the loose salt, sugar mix there, and I'm just going to put that on top and, you know, rub it around a little teeny bit. You may or may not be able to see this part, but that's all I'm doing. And then I will get this one out of the way, and I will do the next one. So there's the lug, drop the tray in, and I'll grab this slab here, which is really nice looking, and I'm just going to center it up in there. Get all of the salt, sugar, cure, whatever's left out there, not wasting any of it. And got it going, and we should be good. And what we're going to do here is we're going to take these, cover them up. We're going to put them in a refrigerator that we have out in the garage for 5 days. It's cold enough to maybe sit them outside, but I wouldn't do it this. It's the weather's too fluctuating around here. So a refrigerator runs about 37 degrees ish, 38 degrees. And these lugs, we're going to stuff them in that refrigerator. We don't keep much in there anyway. And we're going to have those in there for 5 days. And we will come back. There's the lid that goes on it. It's not just sits right on top. And we'll come back in 5 days, and we will do the great unboxing. And then we will, like I said earlier, we'll wipe them off, and we'll wash them off, wipe them off, and then we'll put them in the smokehouse. Okay, today is day 5. We've had our pork bellies in the fridge in salt and sugar for 5 days. We're going to wash them off, we're going to dry them off, and then we're going to put them in the smokehouse. So stand by for some good stuff. Okay, this is the unboxing of the bellies that are now turned into bacon. They've been curing for 5 days, and we're going to take the lid off of one of them. Look at that. If I zoom in, it looks really, really, really nice. Let's move over here to the next one. Let's take that one. Yeah, that one looks good too. They've changed color a little bit, but they've had that salt sugar cure on them for 5 days. They've been in the fridge. And now we're going to wash them off. Okay, we're washing one off here. And basically what you're trying to do here is get just all the salt sugar cure off of them. And so you just wash them on all sides. Just give them a little bit of a rub down. And both sides. And just, you can see, yeah, there you go. You can see what we're doing here. Wash the fat side off. Belly number 2. Oh, excuse me. It was a belly last week. It is bacon today. As you can see, we're washing this one off, just like we did the other one. Sort of changed color. It was really bright last week, and now it's really changed color. It's also firmed up a lot. Now the side she's rubbing off right now, that's where you're going to slice. Right there. That's your bacon slices. And then getting all that off there real good. And we're going to smoke them just like these, and then we'll trim them up afterwards. We're not wasting any of it, because anything that's left over is going to end up being side meat for putting in some greens, or putting in a pot of beans or something like that. So now we're just going to take some paper towels and soak up all that excess water off of them. You don't want to put them in the smoker when they're smokehouse when they are wet, because the smoke isn't going to adhere to them. You would think that it would, but it won't. So they need to be as dry as we can get them. So we're going to put them after they're patted dry really good. Then we'll hang them up on the hooks and hang them up outside for a few minutes, just while we let them air dry just for a little bit, and then we'll put them in the smokehouse. Okay, we're out here at the smokehouse. We're getting ready to smoke some bacon. So right now, it's warmed up considerably out here. It's in the upper 40s, I think. The smokehouse is currently reading about 56 degrees, 55 degrees on the inside. As we open it up, we see I've still got a couple of hams hanging out here that I have previously smoked. Or ham pieces, I should say, and they're doing okay. So I'm going to get a couple of these racks. I'm gonna slide these all the way over, and let them just chill out there. I'm gonna lay down a couple of these racks on the bottom, or at least one, and then I'll get two of these bacon racks out so that I can hang the slabs on them, and then we will commence to getting the fire started, and we're gonna get things going in here. Sun's a little brutal out here, and when I say brutal, I don't mean hot, I just mean bright. What I'm going to show you here, so I'm going to start the fire using a base of B&B charcoal. Now this is available through my local Ace Hardware, I believe, carries the B&B. Nobody else around here carries that, and I've been using it for doing hot smoking and grilling and things like that. It is a lump charcoal, so it acts differently, it burns differently, all that, than the other briquettes that a lot of folks use, but it's got nothing in it. It's got oak in it for sure. I don't know what other hardwoods are involved in it. I've been told it's mostly oak, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, I like using it. It does a really good job. So right here, I've got my little chimney, and I've got it loaded with charcoal. And then at the bottom of the chimney, underneath of it, there's some newspaper. It's just plain old newspaper that I've just wadded up several pieces of it and put it under there. And I'm going to fire that bad boy up. And once it gets cured and starts to get its burning really good, then I'm going to put that in the firebox, and we're going to start putting some wood on and getting some smoke going. Okay, we've got the newspaper started. Typically it takes, I don't know, anywhere from about 15 to 30 minutes for the charcoal itself to really get going and start to turn white. And when that happens is when I'm going to dump it in the firebox and put wood on it. So we'll see how that works out. Okay, I've got today I'm going to be smoking this bacon with a few pieces of apple that I have, and mostly though it's going to be hickory and pecan. And the reason is, as I have them, number one, and pecan is very plentiful here. I've got like 10 pecan trees, and so smoking with pecan is going to be a natural here. And I'm just splitting up this apple. Like I say, I've only got a few pieces, but I'm just splitting it up into some smaller pieces. I'm just going to supplement. I think it will taste very good. And so I'm going to give that a shot. I don't know, I think I told you the story in another video. My neighbor came upon a guy that was cutting down, or had cut down, some apple trees, or at least one apple tree and a cherry tree, and he brought me over a few pieces of the apple and cherry. So it was in some weird looking configurations but he brought me over some of that, and so I'm gonna throw some of that apple in there. Got a little bit more, but it's not cut up. And this pecan and apple, and then I have some hickory that I'm going to throw in there and get that going too, along with it. Looks like the charcoal is about ready. You might be able to see some flames coming up out of there. It's not totally white yet, but that's okay because I'm just using it to start a fire with anyway, and it'll get some of that good hardwood smoke and smell going in there. And I did that without adding any lighter fluid or anything like that. So we're going to pour this into the firebox and see what we do next. Okay, let's take this charcoal and pour it all in the firebox there. And we'll set that off to the side. I'll take my trusty stick here and spread things around a little bit. When I put some wood on it, it's going to catch fire pretty quick. And let me just show you real quick what I got going on here. So these three bins here are all pecan, and then this one is hickory. And so I'm going to be using basically these in the bucket. You saw me cut up just a little bit of apple that I had. I'm going to throw that in there as well, but I'm going to do it a little bit at a time. So here we go. And we get that set up, and we'll start with a couple little pieces of pecan here, and I'm just going to use the pecan to get the fire and the smoke going really good, because there's nothing in there yet. I haven't put the bacon in yet. I'm going to show you that. So I just got this going. We're going to let this catch fire, and then we will move on to the next step. So you can see a bunch of smoke starting to happen now. So I'm going to close the lid, and then I'm going to take the camera around and see how long it takes for it to start coming out of the hole there. See, it's already starting to come out. All right, that's awesome. And we're starting to get some smoke roll there after just like, 20 seconds. Got a 6-foot pipe, so that helps to keep the heat down. And what I'm shooting for, it was at 56 degrees a little while ago, and it's supposed to get up to like 51 out here today. So I'm really, really hoping to get no hotter than about 100 degrees. They say you can go as high as 109, but much hotter than that, and you're going to start cooking the meat. And I really don't want to cook the meat. I just really want to smoke it. So we got some smoke roll there. Now we're going to go prepare the bellies for putting on the smoker. Okay, we're going to put the slabs, bacon slabs, in the smokehouse. So you see I got them on these hooks, and they'll hold there. We're going to smoke them for probably about 8 hours. I'll just hang one up in here like this, and I'll get one up here like that. Whenever you're smoking this stuff, you need to keep it separated. You don't want it touching. So if you look at this rack right here, we're going to have a little bit of a surprise today. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some paprika on there and some cheddar. So we're going to smoke some paprika and some cheddar. Now they'll only smoke for a couple hours. The bacon's going to smoke till after dark. So down here. Okay, so we got paprika. We're going to smoke that. We got a couple blocks of cheddar. We're going to smoke that. We've never done either one of these before, so we're going to see how that turns out. Okay, open the door and see that smoke rolling out of here. Now I don't want this stuff to be hanging under the bacon, so that's why I offset it over here. So if you get it, I'm gonna set that over there, and then we'll put the cheese way over here, because the cheese could melt if it gets hot enough. And then we're going to close her up, and we'll let her sit. So we're at 80 degrees right now. That's good. I got about 25 more degrees I can go. I don't want it, the cooler the better for the cheese. Well, the cooler the better for all of it, actually. But the cheese, I don't want it to melt on me. So we'll see if we can keep that low. So I threw a few small pieces of apple in there, and I just now put a piece of hickory on top. Started it off with pecan wood. So we're going to close it up, and what that's going to do, it's going to pretty much kill that fire and cause the smoke to roll. Okay, it's been about an hour, so I'm just going to check on the cheese, and that seems to be doing okay. Of course, paprika, you won't be able to tell. The bacon, it's coming along. You can tell it's awful smoky going through here. Cheese looks like it's still holding up. So we're going to let her go for about another hour on the paprika and the cheese. Okay, we're going to check things. It's been about, I don't know. It's been several hours now, but when you think about it, I lost the fire a couple times and had to fire it back up. Bacon's doing good. Paprika and the cheese, looks like the cheese might be about ready to come off. But I'll give it a few more minutes, and we'll walk over here and check the fire, see how that's doing. I fired it up not too long ago, so it's still hanging in there because still that hickory and apple. I'm still burning the hickory and apple, by the way, from earlier, and it's the hickory burns really slow. That's some slow burning stuff, which is good. The apple burns a little faster, but it's all good. So you see the fire's going, and we will I'll give it an eyeball, maybe throw another piece of hickory on there, and the temperature's running good. The temperature is currently at 70 degrees, so we're liking that, and we're gonna keep smoking. It's starting to get dark. It's around 4 o'clock now. We're gonna keep smoking. So it's been cool enough that the cheese and the paprika have been okay, so just let it go for a while. Okay, what I didn't show you that we did off camera was we took the bacon slabs out of the smoker, and then we quartered them up. And the reason I quartered them up was because I've got a slicer here, but the width of slice that it'll do is only like 8 3/4 inches or something around there, and the bacon was like 11 inches long. So what I ended up doing was cutting it in half into 5.5 inch quarters so that it'd be easier to slice. Now when when we first cut it up, we sliced off a few slices to get the slicer set to the right depth, what we wanted. And we took those first few slices and fried them up, and let me tell you something, it was awesome. You're gonna see us frying a few pieces up here in just a few minutes. But I'll show you the size of the pieces up close so you can see what we're talking about. Okay, here's what we had after I quartered it. What I did was I trimmed them up square, and then I quartered them, and they ended up 11 inches ended up being 5.5 inches, which is good for the slicer. So you can see we've got some really pretty bacon that's going to come out here. It's beautiful stuff, and like I said, we sliced a few pieces up already, and it was it's some really good tasting stuff. Okay, I'm gonna slice some to show you what we got going on here, and I got it set on this thing the way we like bacon, so that it slices in between thick sliced and thin. You can see, and it's short, but I'm gonna tell you, when we fried it up before, it did not shrink up hardly at all. It's really good looking stuff here. That's some pretty bacon. So I'm going to slice up some more. I'm not going to show you a long video of me slicing all this bacon up. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue on slicing, and then we'll throw some in the frying pan. And yes, we'll taste it on camera. We're going to be able to tell what it tastes like. You won't, but in this case, you'll just have to take our word for it. Okay, here we are frying some of that gorgeous bacon up. And it's shrinking up a little bit, but it's not. So I think we figured before that it was something along the lines, if you, I normally have 2 to 3 slices in the morning, and this you would add a slice. So if you had 3 slices of bacon, you would add a slice, and then you have 4 of these because they do shrink some. This is what the bacon looks like after it's sliced, and you might hear the sizzle in the background. I just showed you where we're cooking some. We're actually dividing these up into 1 pound piles that we are going to make 1 pound packages out of. So as soon as that bacon gets done, we're going to try it out. It smells absolutely delicious. Okay, the moment we've all been waiting for. The cooked bacon is still a little bit hot. Okay, It's amazing. It tastes exactly like bacon. Okay, that bacon was lip smacking good. Of course, I love bacon anyway. So does my wife, and we eat bacon. Uh, the chickens don't eat bacon, but we eat bacon all the time. So that's going to do it for this particular episode, this particular chapter in our homestead journey, in our homestead venture. These are things that you can acquire the skills to do, even if you don't live out in the country like we do. We've been here 5 years next month, and we have acquired things like a meat slicer and a pressure canner and things that we did not have when we were out here. So these are things you can work towards as well. At any rate, so we're all gathered up into 1 pound packages or 1 pound piles, and we're going to vacuum seal those, and we are going to throw those in the freezer, and they'll last as long as they last. We expect at least 13 pounds out of this bacon. And until next time, hit the like button. And we don't have very many videos, but hit the subscribe button if you want to, because we're good. We're regular producers out here. And thank you again for visiting Variety Homestead.